My sister stole everything from me, my boyfriend, my job, my life, but I wasn't going to let her win. I didn't realize my sister had taken my life until I stood in the parking lot of my old office building, staring at my badge that no longer worked, watching her walk past the glass doors like she owned the place. She didn't even look at me. She didn't have to. She was wearing my job, my smile, my future, and she knew it. Growing up, everyone said we were close. That's the lie people love telling about sisters. We shared a room, close, secrets, and for a long time I thought that meant loyalty. What it really meant was that she learned how to be me before she learned how to be herself. I was the older one, the responsible one, the one who did well in school and didn't cause trouble. She was charming, emotional, always in some kind of crisis. If something broke in the house, it was her feelings. If someone needed attention, it was her tears. My parents didn't say it out loud, but the rules were clear. I was expected to handle things. She was expected to be handled. When I got my first real job after college, I felt like I'd finally carved out something that was just mine. It wasn't glamorous, but it was solid. A decent salary, people who respected me, a path forward. I worked late, volunteered for projects no one wanted, and slowly started being trusted with bigger responsibilities. I told my sister everything. I shouldn't have. She was between jobs again, miserable, heartbroken, lost. That was her favorite word. I suggested she apply at my company when an entry-level position opened up in a different department. I even recommended her to HR. I told myself I was being a good sister. She got hired. At first, it was harmless. She'd ask for advice, complain about coworkers, laugh about office politics. Then she started staying late too. Then people began mixing us up in meetings. Someone once congratulated me on a presentation I hadn't given. I laughed it off. I didn't see the warning sign. I thought it was flattering, like we were a team. Around the same time, my boyfriend started changing. We'd been together 3 years. Stable, calm, predictable in the way that makes you feel safe. He came to family dinners, knew everyone's coffee order, talked about the future like it was a given. My sister loved him. She always had. I told myself that was normal too. She started texting him about surprises for me. Asking for his opinion on gifts. Then it turned into inside jokes I didn't understand. When I walked into rooms, conversations would pause for half a second too long. He began comparing me to her without realizing it. How she was more spontaneous. How she didn't overthink things. How she was lighter. The night he told me he wasn't sure anymore, my sister was sitting in the next room. He said he needed space. He said he felt disconnected. He said it wasn't about anyone else. My sister cried with me, held my hand, told me I deserved better. 2 weeks later, she admitted they had feelings for each other. She said it like it was something that happened to her, not something she chose. She said, I didn't plan this. It just happened. I stopped speaking to her. I cut contact completely. I told my parents I needed distance. They told me to be mature, that family comes first, that I shouldn't punish everyone over a complicated situation. I learned then how alone you can be while standing in a crowded room. Work became the only place where I still felt like myself. Until it wasn't. Suddenly, meetings I used to lead were being reassigned. Feedback that was once glowing turned vague. I was told I wasn't being collaborative enough, that I seemed distracted, that my attitude had shifted. Meanwhile, my sister was thriving. She was being praised for ideas I'd shared with her months earlier. She was being invited into rooms I used to sit in. I found out later she'd been meeting my manager for coffee. Talking about concerns. Framing herself as the stable one, the team player, the one who stayed positive under pressure. She never mentioned that the pressure was her doing. The day HR called me in, I already knew. They said restructuring. They said redundancy. They said it wasn't personal. My sister posted a photo from her desk that afternoon. A new title. A promotion. I went home and sat on the floor for hours. No job. No partner. No sister. Just this hollow feeling like I'd been erased and replaced by a better version of myself who didn't exist. For months, I was angry in a way that scared me. Not loud anger. Quiet, simmering, poisonous anger. I replayed everything. Every conversation. Every time ID helped her. Every warning ID ignored. I imagined confronting her, exposing her, screaming the truth until someone finally chose me. But life doesn't work like that. What saved me wasn't revenge. It was distance. I moved. Different city. Smaller apartment. New job in a field adjacent to mine where no one knew my last name. I stopped explaining myself. I stopped trying to prove what had happened. I focused on becoming competent again. Useful. Whole. And something unexpected happened. Without her constant presence, I started to see how much space she'd taken up in my life. How often ID shrunk so she could expand. How much of my identity had been built around being the strong one so she could be the fragile one. A year later, my phone buzzed with her name for the first time since ID left. I didn't answer. She sent messages anyway. She said work was stressful. She said the relationship wasn't what she thought it would be. She said she missed me. She said she hoped I could forgive her someday. I never replied. Not because I wanted her to suffer, but because I finally understood something she never would. Winning isn't taking someone else's life and wearing it like a costume. Winning is building one so solid that no one can steal it. She took my boyfriend. She took my job. She took a version of me that was naive enough to believe love and loyalty were guaranteed just because someone shared my blood. But she didn't take my future. And that's the one thing she'll never be able to copy.